Renovation folder, which started as a single sheet of paper and now it's quite a lengthy document. But I hadn't been realising up until now what I've been doing here, because one of the problems I've had is I haven't been able to see the whole renovation, what I'm doing to the whole boat, from the front of the boat to the back of the boat. I haven't been able to see it all because there's certain features of the boat that are just totally difficult to solve. And if it's not solved in the right way, the boat is not going to be workable really. And so today I had a really, really great brainwave, if you like, and it was after I'd located the proper place for the solar panel, because the solar panel is a very, very difficult thing to install, to locate on a small boat, 22-foot boat. It's very, very difficult, sailing boat. You know, you've got the shade of the sail and not much space behind the sail, and it's the right place for a solar panel, it's behind the sail. And so I've been weighing up and looking on YouTube at different small boats to see what they've done. Some people put them on the side rails, some people have big fancy structures built on the back, which I didn't want, because I feel that the higher it is, the more windage it can get, and if you really get into trouble, you just don't want that's going to act like a sail. You just don't want it to be too high on the back of the boat, especially a small boat. And so I was in two minds about this, and finally I realised that I could attach the thing. If I got a big enough solar panel, I could attach it directly to the push pit at the back of the boat. And I worked out a system where if it's not wide enough to go right across, then I can put some bracket, a flat piece of aluminium, right the way across the rail at the back, and then mount the solar panel on that, and then either 2 or 1 pieces of aluminium to run to the, because it's curved, it runs in a curve like this, to run to the middle of the push pit, and then the solar panel can be pushed out as far as it needs to go. So it's like a bait board, a solar panel. And the solar panel will double as a bait board. I did watch some videos where it's very, very difficult to cut up and deal with a fish when you're out at sea. On a sailing boat, you don't want to get all that blood everywhere, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to angle the solar panel down and have it hang out the back, so any blood and water you can throw back the water over it, and it will just wash all that off the solar panel into the sea at the back of the boat. Because the back of my boat is right there, the rail goes right to the back, and the solar panel will be hanging over right up to the edge of the rudder really. And so once I positioned this, I could see my way through almost. The other thing I had, after I'd thought about it for a while, I had an idea that it might be possible, having that arrangement there, to put a Bimini, a small Bimini on the back. And I'm not 100% sure whether it's practical, possible, but if it's possible I'd like to do it, because I don't use wet weather gear, and if you're sitting out there on the tiller all the time, you're going to get soaking wet. And so I just feel that, and it's not a wet boat, it doesn't actually need a dodger so much. It's really, if you're getting, if the rain's coming down on you, you don't want to be sitting out there in that rain. And if it's really bad conditions, well, you're just going to bang the hatches and get inside. And so that was the idea and the Bimini, because I have a lot of trouble with the sun on my lips and face and that. So yeah, the Bimini was a project that just came to me today, and I've priced them and they're not that expensive. I have a page about Biminis here, and you can get a Bimini full thing, frame, canvas, everything for £140 on eBay, so that's pretty good. And I'll probably start with that. Maybe the canvas might be a little bit cheap, but when that canvas goes, as they all do, they wear out pretty quickly. You can buy a new canvas for £36 for it, so and that's already made up, or you can buy canvas, £14, and sew it yourself. And so a very heavy, good quality canvas, you can do it yourself. And I also had the idea that it might be possible to close in the back completely, right down to the solar panel, so the solar panel, the Bimini could go up against the solar panel and put an extra piece of canvas from the Bimini onto, across the back of the boom onto the coach house roof, so that if you're, if the boat's standing and you don't want to, you can actually have the whole cockpit area sheltered from the rain when you're sort of, you know, when you're stopped at anchor or in a marina or something like that. So that's my idea for the Bimini. Now the main thing that I was concerned about, or I couldn't actually get my head around, was what to do inside where the seating is in the main cabin, because I did find that it was made up as a bed permanently when I came down there, and it was okay because you could actually just lie on that and rest on the bed. And it will probably be like that for quite a considerable time if you're passage making. But there are other times where you want a table. If there's two of you especially, you really want a table, and also if you want to do work in the boat, it will be nice to have a work table that you can put a vice on and saw a piece of wood or something like that to work on the boat. So, and I couldn't work out how to do this because it's such a big table, and the big table covers long and thin, and it covers a hole, and it's actually the seating that goes all the way around and then the hole, and it's raised up, so it's quite high. And the idea was that you sit on this raised platform, and the table went into like a pole. But you know, it's not practical. The table's too big and heavy, it will just break, and it is broken. And you know, it's just too big and heavy to deal with. And so I had this idea to make a sliding table, to turn this table into a sliding table, so that it goes into the side where the windows are, and you can slide it forward or backwards. So it can be a chart table, or it can be a table, you know, a table to work on. And one of the part of it folds down. And so I had a look on eBay, and I managed to find some aluminium caravan awning track. And I believe that you can put two of these together like this, and so that the table can go into those two pieces to hold it against the wall for maybe 1.2 meters of track. And then the table is thin and long, and it can slide along the track, so you can have it where you want. And it then will have a fold-out leg, and I found some fold-out legs also, some hinges that go out, fold-out legs. And so the entire arrangement for the sliding and fold-out leg arrangement for the table is about £20. So I've ordered that stuff, and I had the idea then, because I have this chair, this oak chair, that I broke up into pieces of wood to use to fix the interior up. It has two legs, and so I can cut those legs they're quite long, I can cut those legs to the right length, have the two legs, oak legs, so that they fold up underneath the table. And then the whole table lifts off and it goes off to make the bed. And so I'm so glad that I solved this issue, because it was such a difficult one to solve. There was no way you could put that pole in there and get anything reasonable. You'd be stuck inside the table would close you in. You wouldn't be able to get up properly. And you don't need it. You don't need like 4 people to sit around the table. You wouldn't ever have 4 people in that boat. It's too small. And the backrest is no good, where you can't really sit. It's a compromise really. But you can sit at both ends of it. And so and normally there's only one person uses the table anyway. And so you could have the table slide down to one end. If you're lying back and you kind of because normally you lie with your feet out. You lie with your feet out, and then the table can be there, and you can pull the table towards yourself. You could eat it like that, or you could put the chart table on and read it up, or it could be on the other side, at the other end of the bench where all the instrumentation is, and you could be sitting there as you walk down the companionway steps, just straight down, sit right at the end there, and have the table close to the companionway steps, so you've got the chart on it there, and whatever. So it should work quite well. I'm glad I solved it, because yeah, it's so difficult, because this boat doesn't have seating on both sides. If you've got seating on both sides, you can generally put the table somewhere in between, but there's only seating on one side, and which is a bit of a hassle really. You should be seating on both sides, but there's not enough space, and with the design it's made, there's not enough space. And I had a look at other Macwesters, and they fiddled around with it, doing it like that, and I feel kind of lost something in the process. They lost long seating, which is very necessary if you don't want to be using the V-berth. You want to be in the main cabin if you're on a passage and it's rough outside. You just want to relax and rest a while. It's a good place to rest, to have it made up as a bed. So you want to keep that arrangement. It's good. And on the other side is all of the cooking, the galley and the sink and all that stuff, and the food and everything is all on the other side. So yeah, and the other thing I'm going to put in is a helm seat. That's also the chair. I think I showed you the chair. I have the seat here, and I'm going to convert this into a helm seat that sits on the companionway where you step in. It's very, very sharp, so you don't want to sit on that sharp edge. I already tried sitting on the sharp edge, but it's a good place to sit. It's a nice place to sit. It's out, it's sheltered from the wind, and you can see where you're going. And with a timber extension, you could actually steer from there if you had a short pipe or something you could put over the tiller. So there's potential there. I need stanchions. I need to replace some of the stanchions, and I priced them. They're so very, very, very expensive, and I tried other options. If you get a stanchion base and then put a pole in it, but even that's expensive. And so on eBay at the moment, there's 3 old stanchions, stainless steel stanchions, base and stanchion top, the right size for me. 3 of them for sale, starting 99p start. So I've got this on my watch list, and at the moment they're only bid up to a couple of pounds or something like that. But I'm going to wait till the last minute. I'm going to put a really, really strong bid in to see if I can get these stanchions, because I need them. They're so hard to find, and these ones will do the job really, really well for me. It's interesting because these stanchions have my stanchions have 2 rails. These only have 1. But I want the stanchions that they're to replace, I want them to have 1 rail, because the second rail is where you actually climb over from the cockpit onto the side of the boat, and it traps your foot because there's not enough space. And so the top rails are right, but it's a lower rail that can catch you, especially if you're wearing shoes or anything like that. It can catch your feet. It's very dangerous. So I was going to stop the lower rail part way along, and then only have a top rail for the back part. And so that's my plan for that. So I'm just hoping that those stanchions tomorrow, Monday that they close, and so I'm hoping that I can win that auction and get those stanchions at a very, very good price, and that will save my bacon really. Yeah, that'll be really good. 3 stanchions, and I need 3. I need 2 on one side and 1 on the other side. That's exactly how many I need. So it's just an update of where we're at on the refit, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to I've listed all the projects I'm working on. So I'm working on the sliding table, the Bimini top, the Helm Seat, the solar panels, the instrumentation refit, the dual battery refit, the alternator refit, the inverter to shore power system. So I need that to make the inverter go into all the plugs, the 240 volt plugs in the boat, and then carpeting the cockpit, carpeting the floor, carpeting the instrumentation panel, painting the inside, painting the outside, and then the deck rails refit. So that's the main work that I'm going to be doing. The engine is another one. There's a lot of work that needs to be done on the engine. And so I'm going to keep that to last probably. I'll probably regret that because it's a messy job, but I'll have to cover everything so I don't get it messed up. And I want the inside feeling good. I want to go in there and feel really good about being in there. And there's some things about it that I'm not feeling. It feels old, you know, some of the coverings and that. And I feel that once it's all looking spick and span and new and cosy in there, it's going to make me feel a lot better and move me on to do some of the more difficult jobs, which is probably the engine really, what needs to be done in the engine. The engine and the plumbing, the head, there's a lot of work needs doing. But this is the main part. And as I do each part of the boat, I'm going to set up a video section, a playlist for each one of them. So at the moment I'm building up a playlist. All my videos are going into my solar panel electrical system playlist. I'm going to set one up for each of these, so at the end of or any time in the future, anybody can, you know, if they're interested in say carpeting or instrumentation panels and things like that, all the videos, they'll be able to do a playlist and they'll pick up all the videos that cover that particular subject. I'm hoping it makes the channel easy to use and useful, because I know myself, I spend a lot of time looking at other people's channels to try to find good ideas for my own boat, and a 22 footer is most difficult. It's the most difficult boat to design, refit, so I'm hoping that these difficult ideas that I've had, that I've come to, difficult conclusions to solve my problems, will help other people solve their problems in similar small boats, because a lot of people give up on their small boats and they move to bigger boats, and this is the reason, because it is so difficult to get the design, the interior layout, both cockpit, the outside and inside layout 100% correct. And I think if it's done correct, it's livable and doable, and there's a lot of advantages to a 22 footer sailing single-handed if you can get it right. So I'm hoping to do that, and if I make mistakes, well, perhaps you can tell me, you know, you can make suggestions in the comments section, because I really like that, to hear if there are suggestions, and then I can reply and think about it and give my reply. And also, if you have any questions with your own boat, I'm quite happy to share ideas with you and put my thinking cap on. If you've got a difficult problem, I can put my thinking cap on, see if I can come up with some innovative idea, because that's what I'm good at. I'm good at doing things in unusual ways, and also on the cheap, I'm afraid, because I have a limited budget and I'm not going to invest. I can't invest a lot of money in this boat, but I would like to think that after 2 years, when I'm ready for my next boat, that I will be able to sell this boat for a really good price so that I can get another boat that needs a refit, and that this boat will then be the capital for that. Because this boat, I believe, when it's finished, will be 4,000 plus boat when it's finished, because it's going to be a blue water 22-footer when it's finished, with all systems operational. And a classic too, because it will have its classic motor, fully operational and fully reliable, and it's classic everything. So I'm hoping that you probably can't expect it to get any more than 4,000 for it. But I'm going to go the idea that the boat will be worth 4,000 when it's finished, and that is what I'm hoping to get for it, to move on to my next boat. And if I buy another boat like Tinkerbelle for 4,000, then I can probably turn that into a 10 or 12,000 pound boat. And so that's my route, if you like, to getting myself into something that's more livable on board. Okay.